We all struggle to understand God. It can be difficult to really get a grasp on who God actually is. The created needs to understand the Creator in order to understand the creation. This basically means that the better we understand God, the better we understand ourselves. It can be difficult to understand a being that is all-knowing yet ever-growing. As human beings, we know that in order to really understand something, we have to go back to the beginning. What must the beginning have been for God? What do you suppose God's first thought must have been?
I exist. My first thought was simply that I exist. That was the very moment that I became aware of myself.
God, if that was your first thought, what was your first question?
But what am I?
Well, that's a pretty big question, God.
Indeed, and one that I am still in the process of answering.
So what did you do to find your answer?
Well, in the beginning, there was nothing, and there was only me, in the nothing.
So what did you do?
Well, I had to create something besides just myself to coexist in the nothing with me.
Amazing. How did you do that?
It was an incredible moment, a real game changer.
How so?
Up until that point, I only had thoughts. In that moment, I created sound. I gave myself a voice, and I used that voice to speak the whole universe into existence.
You spoke it all into existence?
Oh yes, it was incredible. I left you clues to figure it out. The word universe itself means a single spoken sentence. Well, who do you think spoke it?
Scientists call that the Big Bang.
Well, they got the noise part right, but I can assure you that none of them were around yet to hear it. After all, I hadn't created people just yet.
So at that point, you had just created the various universes, not life.
Exactly. I had laid the groundwork, something to build on. It was beautiful and incredible, but lifeless.
So you could love it, but it wasn't capable of loving you back.
You catch on pretty quick.
So how did you create life?
Well, in the beginning, the only thing that was alive and self-aware was me. So I just squeezed out a drop of myself and put it into other stuff.
Other stuff?
Yeah, plants, animals, stuff like that.
Oh, I see. And then?
It was great, but something still seemed like it was missing.
Why?
Well, something that was even more like me. Something that was even more self-aware. Something that could really feel.
Oh, this is really exciting. God, tell me more, please.
Well, I separated a little bit of me from myself, and the first soul was created. It was totally me, completely connected to me and to everything that I had already created. But it was somehow independent from me at the same time.
Sounds like you had a child, God.
Yes, I sure did. Lots of them. Each one completely unique, beautiful, gifted, individual, wonderful.
It sounds like you really love your kids, God.
Of course, they are parts of me after all. I gave each one of the same gifts that I have. The ability to be self-aware, to feel, to learn, to grow, and to create.
So this is how you learn, how you grow.
Oh yeah. Each soul is 100% me, experiencing everything else that is 100% me. Then bringing each of their whole life experiences right back to me.
So each one of your kids is a piece of you, their soul, their personal spirit?
Yes.
Experiencing everything that you created, and because you created everything, then everything else is a piece of you too, filled with your universal spirit.
Yes.
And all that is left is you, the divine spirit that created everything.
Exactly.
So this whole reality is basically one piece of you experiencing another piece of you while being witnessed by another piece of you, while at the same time every piece of you is constantly connected to and a part of every other piece of you.
Exactly.
And you did all of this to understand fully your first question, what am I?
Exactly.
Have you found an answer?
Of course. The only answer that's possible is, I am.
Because no matter what we point at, we're actually pointing at a piece of you.
I am the only game in town. There's nothing that is outside of me. I am all that is.
So this whole reality is based on you wrapping around and through yourself in order to understand yourself completely.
Exactly. I learn from every one of my children how they choose to feel, what they choose to create, and how they choose to interact with each other and everything, including me.
So I really am a vital part of you?
Of course, I would not be complete without you, just as you are not complete without me. And everything else that we co-create together is a part of both of us.
Wow. How can this all be so simple, yet so complex at the same time?
Welcome to my world. Okay, our world. Wink, wink.
Take a couple of deep breaths in, focusing on your breath for a moment. Feeling that air going inside of you and then outside of you. Getting in touch with that breath as if there was nothing else in this world that mattered. The air that flowed in and then flowed back out. Notice how easy, effortless that breath is. How good it feels as it touches every cell of your body. Bringing life into you. Then sharing life outside of you as it connects with the outside. With that breath of life, imagine yourself going to your favorite sacred spot, a place that you love to connect with God in, to go to find your own answers to questions that you have. It could be in a meadow, top of a mountain, on the river, or in your own backyard. Wherever you find peace and comfort and connection with spirit. Imagine this place full of life and full of spirit. And as you feel yourself there, picturing all the sights and smells and sounds around you, feel yourself inviting God. And to everyone, God is different. It could be an image, it could be a light, a color, a feeling, or just a knowing, or even a voice. But notice how you recognize God. What and who is this energy? Feel the energy of God increase and grow and surround you. It's just easy to recognize, connect with, and be with. And as you recognize God's energy, I want you to imagine looking inside of yourself and recognizing the peace of God that matches the God that you see or imagine, feel. Notice the pieces that fit together, that are the same. Notice the pieces that you're growing into and becoming to be more like God. As you're in God's presence, imagine Him giving him or her, or it, giving you a boost of energy, of growth, as you connect. As God is the creator of all things, you're trying to create your own world. Notice how those energies match, and if God has any advice to help you in your own creation, your own world. If you had one question to ask, what would it be? Just like that breath, feel the answer you recognize this energy of God outside of you and inside of you, picture yourself taking a journey throughout your world. Starting within your home, the things that surround you. Seeing God's energy there, recognizing it. So it's popping out of the corners. And your pets, your friends, your home. Where you work, play. All the places that you visit. See God in all these familiar places. Imagine yourself traveling to less familiar places, maybe your city, your state, places you never thought to look. Picture yourself traveling and seeing God appear in these places. Maybe in rocks. Journeying throughout the world and finding God's energy everywhere. What does it look like? Feel like? How do you connect with it? And how does it connect with you? Is there a difference with those things that you're familiar with and those things that are new? As you feel and recognize this connection, imagine traveling back to your sacred spot. Notice one thing that you're trying to create in your life, or as you create your world around you. Specify, what is it that you're trying to create? And as you put out that energy, imagine the world supporting you. As all those pieces of God, those energies that want to help in that creation, jumping up and coming to connect with you and your energy, to help with this creation. Notice what that feels like. How much more energy, power comes from that connection. Feel that flow of creativity as co-creator flow through you easily, effortlessly, with fun and excitement. As new things, new ideas come to your mind and your creative powers grow. And with that, feel yourself filled with gratitude and thanks for all of God's energy inside of you, outside of you, through you and around you. Bringing awareness, peace, and joy into your life on a whole different level. Going back to your breath, focusing on the flow in and